back to another episode of Knicks Morning Koffee. I'm Mr. King. Y'all know my partner, Joe Cool.
What's the word?
And we have a special guest in the building, but she won't be on camera, so.
This is why we don't have people on the show. Now, go ahead. Go ahead, say hi to the people.
All right, so.
I like that shirt.
Anyway, happy Memorial Day. Well, we celebrated yesterday, so we're going to talk about a few things today. We missed last week, but the news is still the same. But before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. And here we go. Well, we still got to talk about, we ain't saying nothing about Carmelo Anthony yet.
Oh, come on, Anthony.
Yeah, because everybody knows that, of course, he deserves all the accolades that he's getting. And then it's also nice that we know LeBron and D-Wade and them will come out, but it's nice to hear all the other players saying he was their toughest opponent to guard.
Right.
Yeah, so that's just nice for Melo because he, it's not his fault that he wasn't in the league, but at the same time, he is still 38, 39, so it don't matter in that sense anymore.
It seemed like he could have played just as long as, like they say LeBron now, but they look like they could play for a little while longer.
Yeah, because all that talk about the league moving on from his one-on-one play, all the stars still one-on-one. Now, maybe him dominating the ball at one-on-one, that's different. But as far as the way he played, as far as getting his buckets, that didn't change for no other team, any star or secondary star in the league.
That's BS anyway. Iguodala, they won't let him retire.
Yeah, so that was just a bad rep that Melo picked up. But at the same time, he's going out with his accolades. So that's cool for me.
Are they gonna? I know the Knicks are talking about retiring his jersey. How about Denver? Like, are they both gonna do it? Do one team just do it? How does that work?
Denver, I think the Knicks might do it first because they said that he got some allies in New York. But remember, Denver, he almost got 2 coaches fired. So it might be hard for Denver to, think with George Karl and then Bizdellic, the first coach in Denver, he got fired, which is the same reason why he got fired from Houston. When Bizdellic came back to coach at Houston as an assistant coach, remember the 10 days, the 10 games Melo played? As soon as he came back, they told Melo it's not working out. So he probably said, I'm not coming back if that guy's there.
Right. So
that easy, 10 games in the season when Houston let him go.
So should we give him a farewell tour at least?
Well, you can't, you can't. The only way you get a farewell tour if he set something up with the teams and then throughout the season, they move about certain, but he got, just the way everybody.
I still believe Melo on your bench is still better than.
At this point, because of his age, then it's like now, even though he still could do it, it's like okay, at least you at the age, and it sounds like he's going out, peaceful.
Yeah.
But my only dilemma with, and of course I want the Knicks to retire Melo's number, but my only dilemma with that is, how I feel about Bernard King.
Yeah. They ain't retired his number?
No. He's in the Hall of Fame.
I'm talking about, but he wasn't.
Listen, he's more of a Knick. When he was a Knick, and I'm not comparing him and Melo, but he's third on my Knicks pecking order behind Walt and Patrick.
But how long was that Bernard King run? That was
it was a few years run because he was still on the team, but he was hurt. But it was enough. He made enough of an impact that the whole league feared him. Larry Bird, Dr. J, Mark Aguirre, all the top small forwards feared Bernard, and they'd be first one to tell you.
I'm talking about this is why he was on the Knicks.
This is why he was on the Knicks. But he was good. He was good his whole NBA career. But we're talking about when we had him, scoring back-to-back 50-point games, leading the league in scoring. He really should have been an MVP in '84, and they gave it to Bird. Even Bird was shocked because the whole league felt that was Bernard's MVP hands down, but politics way back then. So I would like to see it because Melo's jersey, it don't have to be retired right now. He got some time, but to me, you got to take care of Bernard in that sense. Now I know somebody was running off a whole lot of other names in Knick history, but
I know, Rick. I was gonna say like Stoudemire had a really big impact.
Nah, that was different though. That
I mean, even though Suns, he had a
we had a lot of guys come to us that's been like Stoudemire, but Melo is different. So Melo's jersey eventually, but you got to take care of Bernard King first. That's mine.
I mean, he is the product of a Bernard King, so
yeah.
He always give Bernard his props.
Yeah, because
this is my game after. This is my after.
Yeah, so that's the whole league. So, in two, before we jump into the Knicks thing, this Miami Heat and Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, this is
Now, how do y'all feel? I want to talk to the people out there. Are you going for Boston? Are you going for the Heat? Or are you just gonna go with Denver and say later for the people on the East? Like, what y'all doing? What are you doing?
I'm going for Denver in this case because neither one of them gonna have nothing for Denver.
So is the Heat rivalry? For me, I don't feel like the Heat rivalry is really that crazy over the years. Now, maybe back in the day, I guess, when they said in the 90s, the Heat rivalry now, I remember when Dwayne Wade was over there. We didn't care nothing about the Heat then. When even Shaq and them went over there. LeBron went over there. The NBA cared about the Heat at that time, but not enough for the Knicks to be mad. Now, Boston, I'll tell everybody, when KG said Melo wife smell like tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios, and Paul Pierce saying we suck, and I'm not jacking the Celtics at all. I feel like they're more of a rivalry for current time Knicks.
Well, they was the same rivalry. The Knicks Celtics rivalry goes all the way back to the 60s.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's always gonna be there. The Knicks Bulls rivalry is a window of the Michael Jordan era. And then that was probably the later part of Michael Jordan, the middle to later era. And then the Heat was like a 90s thing. And that was almost duplicated. I think if we show a little bit more guts in this series against the Heat, that rivalry could have been renewed. Because all the elements was there. You know, Pat Riley in the audience, Patrick and Lonzo Mourning at the game. So everything was there for that to still be a rivalry.
Jimmy Butler talking mess.
Yeah, we just didn't put up the fight.
Right.
So, but it was there. But Boston, well, to me, the Heat, they don't even deserve to win anymore. Because you up 3-0. So with the history that Boston's gonna make, that's the kind of stuff that if I turn it back to the Knicks, why I keep saying too that anything is possible. Like, okay, the Heat came back from a play-in game to get this far. Boston coming back from down 3 with your best player not playing well in the fourth quarter. Because Tatum went the whole fourth till the end. In the second half to even get a bucket. So people just finding ways to win, and then take the guts of the role players to keep tracking that ball. Or we do see a Miami.
Right.
You know, but at this point now, going home to Boston, it's not impossible that the Heat can win, but you dug yourself a hole now that you might have to live with for a long. Like this could be shake-up time for the Heat, something like this. So, but kudos to Boston for that. But whoever gets there, they're not gonna have nothing for Denver.
Yeah, Boston get there. I'm going for Denver.
I'm going for Denver no matter what in this case.
But now the Heat. I never really had a problem. Remember, there was times where I said I think Jimmy Butler, he looked like he's supposed to play for the Knicks the way he act.
Yeah, but he also Well,
but not as for me, it's never as the main guy. So like Jimmy Butler's another one, even though he's playing better than I guess Randall, but to me, he's another one of the players that he can step up at a lot of the times, but he's never to me supposed to be the main guy.
Yeah, and he pulled a Randall. And part of that game, because he wasn't even looking to shoot, it was at the end when he started getting those foul calls, and then he got that 3 foul shot to tie the game. But he disappeared in that game at the end too, not even looking for. So I didn't know what was going through his head if they would have lost that game with him acting like that. And then on another note too with us, with all the speculation, and this goes to show how far the Knicks have come under Tibbs, is that, let me just rattle off some of the names that in the past would just be impossible when they talking about what the Knicks can do this summer. And I know we're going to have a whole 2-3 months of talking about this, but just some of the names, the Greek Freak, Joel Embiid, Anthony Towns, Jaylen Brown, DeMar DeRozan, Dame Lillard, Anunoby, DeAndre Ayton, Westbrook, Porzingis, Bradley Beal, Klay Thompson, Kyle Bridges. These are just some of the names, and then they threw in LeBron the other day. These are just some of the names to show how far the Knicks have come, that all these players even if half of them is really, if they even really considering coming to New York, that just goes to show the growth that we had.
I mean, there was a mission when Leon Rose and them got here. And the mission was to change the culture of the Knicks. They wasn't so set on, yeah, you want to go get a championship. Yeah, you want to make it to the playoffs. The most important thing was changing the culture. And then I agreed with it. Now, was they moves questionable as they got there? Yeah, we were stuck. But then you end up with Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
So then that shows. Remember, I kept telling you all season long, I said, listen, I think Brunson is the one that maybe we got to give the keys to. Because he looked like he's more sound at the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, all we got to do is make it to the second round. Remember, I kept saying that? And I think this was the reason why. Like, how they talking about the Knicks now is totally different than how they used to talk about the Knicks.
Yeah.
Like, now, it's like almost like you can breathe. Like, the media is not bashing us. I mean, now, player-wise, it's totally different. Randall and RJ, they got to get it together. The media don't like y'all right now.
Yeah, and it was reported by Full Court Press NBA that Donovan Mitchell was unhappy in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't know if you was going to bring that up.
How true that is. I mean, that
I didn't see that I was unhappy, but I seen there was like a lot of posts like, you know, like he really wanted to come to the Knicks. Like,
yeah. Well, he did. He said it. Yeah. When he got the call, he was shocked himself. But any one of those names that we mentioned a few minutes ago, right, which is credit to the Knicks, and we'll get into another time too, the what if moves, because I've seen some that half intriguing that people were putting up. But with this list, this is how easy it could happen. If you take Randall out and add two names from this list, we're a contender. Mm-hmm. Any two. If you keep Randall and add one of the names from this list, we're a contender.
Because Mikal Bridges coming, right? I think Randall needs to stay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if Antetokounmpo come, RJ got to go.
Well, no,
RJ probably can stay, but
the main thing is Randall. Like, the main thing is that, and the only thing I thought was weird is that Randall wasn't on this list. So these are, I guess, people coming to the Knicks. But if you had to put out a list of people who could be had in this summer, then Randall should have been on this list. But the way the list was constructed, it was people that could be coming. So yeah, but you take any one of them, you take, like I said, if you keep Randall and you get one of the names on this list, we still a contender. And if you get rid of Randall and get two of the names, you still a contender. Because right now, one thing that we know for sure, you're looking at Fournier and Rose. If you could somehow do something with their contract, that's $35 million right there. So I wouldn't just give them away unless it was able to keep all my money. I don't know how much you got to take back to shed them salaries. I think Rose is you could just let go.
I mean, so something's gonna happen because Knicks is one of them teams I feel like in the NBA where when you come to the Knicks, your legacy is now being built or how you want your career to go. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get situations like a T-Mac and a Steve Francis where you kind of get to the Knicks and we hype for a week and you kind of fizzle out.
Yeah, but I don't think nobody. Yeah, but they both came on their last legs. So I don't think nobody cared about that one.
Or you come and you Baron Davis and you make a lot of noise, right, for the Knicks, and we consider you probably a Knick because how you played for that little short period of time. And then you got Melo, Stoudemire.
Yeah, but I don't consider Byron.
Stephon Marbury, and like where you come to the Knicks and you really do your thing. But I think a lot of these players, I think now they starting to think about that. Like, do I want to go there and play with Jalen Brunson and also be the person that says, "Oh, I wasn't scared to come to the Knicks in this rebuilding stage and be a Knick forever." I think that's what they're thinking now. Yeah, a lot of these players, they're gonna have a legacy like Melo in their first team. And now they got to consider that if you come to the Knicks, this is where this defines your look. You don't want to be another player that came there and they said you didn't make it to the finals. Yeah. Or you didn't. So they really
and if we keep Randall, there'll be guys who they will want to come and play with Randall and Brunson.
Yeah, I feel like they do want to play with Randall.
Yeah, because it's not all lost. Like we said a few weeks ago, Randall proved with help he can get us to the playoffs. So now it's up to the Knicks now to find another player to help get you over the hump, even if you keep Randall. because moving him won't be as easy as I believe as people think. Now, there's some suitors also for Randall. And would Randall leave? Randall probably would leave because he's got to come back the way he left off in the regular season. So you come back, hit the ground running, and all will be forgotten until we get to the playoffs again. But for the first part of the season, Randall would have to come in and he would probably, still feel like I'm a big part of this team. But we just have to add something. And I think that's something, I was reading something, if we did the show last week, so I didn't save it, where they say Leon Rose and World Wide West got something big cooking. So
they version of something big cooking at this point is we kind of won't understand until the season starts. Brunson was one of those, we got something big cooking. We didn't quite understand until.
Oh, you're trying to say their big is not.
Yeah, their big is whatever the league understands about these players. I don't think it got anything to do with us. Like, yeah, you got some people on YouTube that will break down Brunson's game and say, well, when he was in college, he was doing this. When he was on Denver, he was dropping 30. And they'll really break it down for us. But as a whole, we not going to know. Like Mikal Bridges. Everybody really not going to understand that. You know what I mean? Well, Mikal Bridges now, but who would have thought he was going to be like that?
I think coming out, not really. Coming out of Villanova, like he was on the Knicks' radar. There was several small forwards that was, that was on the radar, and he was on the Knicks' radar. And then it was even shocking when the Knicks passed him up. So everybody knows he can score. It's just that when you go to certain teams, like he said himself, you just have to sit and wait your turn. But he's very capable of being a steady 20, 25 point scorer if called upon. That's in his DNA. So when you go to Brooklyn and you get the chance to do that, you was already capable because you didn't even have to show it. They knew it. That's why they told him when they went to him with Monty Williams and then went to him when Devin and them went down, and they said you have to step up and carry the load. Well, this is something I could do. Y'all just have to give me the opportunity and give me the ball to do it. But I understand this is Devin's team. So you bring him to the Knicks with the mindset that this is why we bringing you here.
Yeah, that's what he went to. He went to Brooklyn with that mindset saying, this is what we come here to do. We come here to help the team win. And the only way we're going to do that is by doing the things that we do as if they was not here.
Because you went there with no star there. So you got the opportunity. You could do that. Because you ain't got to worry about, I ain't got to worry about being behind this guy. Everybody gone. But if he come to the Knicks, and he would if that was the case because of Brunson.
Well, he would fit for that anyway because we expecting these players to go one-on-one anyway on the Knicks. We don't have a system in place like if we was the Spurs or Golden State. Or...
Yeah, but he could adapt to that too because he can pull up and shoot. So we would be a perfect fit for him if that's our ceiling. If that's our ceiling and we're going to get in there and roll the dice again, and we got to roll our sleeves up, play some defense, then we'd be a perfect fit for Mikal Bridges.
In New York, I think he's close to home. So even if he wasn't in Brooklyn, I think his next bet or the place he will want to be is the Knicks. So I'm kind of hoping that's sounding like an easy walk-on for us, but if we get him, I feel like now the sky's the super limit. It's about trading RJ even quickly and
it's the limit. It's the limit with a lot of the names on that list. The sky will be the limit. The only reason why I try to stay away from
Antetokounmpo, I think is unsure because they made a joke about the Lakers and he didn't really say no. He didn't say yes neither.
Well, he probably was frustrated. He a little bit. I mean, to his credit, you're a little frustrated, but for me, in his case, he can't throw nobody under the bus because you are the guy. You the guy, and yes, you do make the reads, the kick out the passes, but you the guy that just go coast to coast. So you don't have nobody to look to the left or right. It don't matter who you put in that system. If he's not going to share the ball in that sense, you can't blame nobody. You just got to make sure you do what you do to make sure they win.
That is super fun to see if we had Jalen Brunson, Antetokounmpo, and Mikal Bridges. That would be that one would be a more far-fetched. I mean, that would be hard for them to share it.
Yeah, you have a better.
In my mind, we already play one-on-one.
Look, you have a better chance with Embiid, I think, than getting Antetokounmpo.
So my only problem with Embiid is he get hurt a lot. Like
Well, Tibbs would have to
like when I
rearrange his game if you got him.
It's like Porzingis. Like I want Porzingis too, but at the expense of not having Randall, it's like hard to think about because Porzingis another one. He plays so good, but he get hurt a lot. Like a lot of these players is like, you still gotta have backups for them as a good team. So that's the only thing.
Well, at least we here. Well, that's the other thing. I just hope that the big surprise is not Bradley Beal. Because there's some quiet whispers about Bradley Beal. He's hurt more than anybody.
But Bradley Beal,
stay hurt.
But here's the thing about Bradley Beal. I still put him in the category of Jimmy Butler, Paul George. Like to me, DeMar DeRozan. I put them all in the same category. They not your main guy, but it's like, we got also this person. Yeah. Like you got Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, and then you also got Bradley Beal. Yeah, he disappears and he gets hurt. Like, I don't even know where to put Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is like the most underwhelming superstar.
Yeah, but these injuries. I mean, there was even talk about your boy, Paul George. I saw the other day.
Yeah,
it's Paul like George, so many. There's so many names.
Paul George, I can't mess with Pacers. Like, like I don't care. He moved around 100 times. He was a Pacer, and he was getting on my nerves when he was a Pacer. I can't do it.
Now, there's something else I thought was interesting,
too. I like Jaylen Brown. I like that one.
Yeah, sure, of course.
But I don't want Tatum because Tatum, to me, like, he looked like a Celtic forever. Like, I don't even want him. But Jaylen Brown, I can take. I don't know why. Well,
because he's hard-nosed. He's unpredictable. I mean, he carried a lot of traits that a lot of Knicks. I mean, take away Carmelo Anthony in the modern year, in modern times, as far as stars, and maybe when we first got Stephon, we don't really bring in those dynamic, skilled players. Like, right, Melo, Amari is a hybrid. He'd be like a hybrid skilled player, but he's not a. Marbury was really skilled. Like, we didn't really have nobody that's.
I guess Brunson is like the new.
Well, I'm not looking at Brunson in that type because we didn't bring him. He's doing that, but we didn't bring him in like that. Yeah. We don't really bring in like highly skilled offensive players like that. Brunson, he just get his. He's not like a highly skilled offensive player. But this is what I'm going to look at going into, though, to jump the gun to next season, is that what the Lakers did and what Miami did as far as when they say breaking the analytics, right? The analytics, predictions, the Vegas predictions, they just knocked them clean out of the water until they got to recalculate. So that's why sometimes the machine and analytics can't tell you what's going to happen. Now, they might be right a big percentage of the time because what Miami did, there's no, but there's sometimes the eye test and the hunger supersedes all of that. And that's the one thing I was so glad about for Miami and also for the league is that y'all can't always tell what's in somebody's heart when they going out there to play. Now, this ain't the same Jimmy playing these last 3 games against Boston that played the first 3 and that played against us. He ain't playing with the same hunger for some reason. But again, y'all had Miami with no shot to, first of all, to get in the playoffs, to get through the playoffs, and then even have a chance to go to the championship.
Yeah, I don't think these predictions should happen until maybe like the first 30 games or something in the season. Because even with us, the way we thought the Knicks was going to play in preseason, ain't nowhere near the way they played in the beginning of the season, which is nowhere near how they played at the end.
Yeah, like, but we did see it. Yeah, but going into the season, we saw it.
Yeah, we were saying we going to the playoffs.
But people saw it.
Yeah, we was like, we definitely going to the second round the way they playing in the preseason. When it got to the regular season, we was like, yeah, this is solidified. I was like, we get into the second round. Like, I can see second round championship. But second round is where I think I want to be. With the Heat, only thing that's weird about the Heat is they did what I normally would say. When you got them players that come off the bench and they trying to fight for a contract, they play way harder than ever before. They trying to show their worth to the NBA.
Yeah, and that's what that is in any sport.
And I think that's what it like. I think Iman Shumpert brings up the game that way. Like, yeah, you got Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo was there. They hurt. When you get Vincent and all these dudes that are probably fighting, I don't know how they got to there. I don't know if they got drafted. I don't know if they came for the G League at night. I don't know how they got there, but they on some, I need to solidify my bread for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So they playing like that. So
Yeah,
now
man.
whatever team they go to, they're gonna get that bigger contract because how you play and how you showed up in the playoffs. That's all that matters. I don't care what you do regular season, but in the playoffs, I see you can take it another.
Yeah.
So
and Miami was smart enough to know that they didn't have nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So they was able to put them guys out there and say, just play. It's so loose. We ain't supposed to be here anyway. And then lo and behold,
I think that's how Golden State wins a lot of their games. You got like Andrew Wiggins and Iguodala that for some reason why in certain moments they turn it on and then they just start playing better.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they went down, but
that's just good for the league anyway, because you need new blood. You don't want the same teams. You know, even though Miami was just there a couple of years ago, right, in the championship.
Well, I think the players change it too.
Yeah,
I don't think people so much look at the teams anymore. It's like, yeah, the teams, but the players. Like Jokic is crazy how all that controversy of should he had get MVP for a third time or whatever, and he goes to the finals.
like, yeah, but I know, but that's where you have, but that's why you have regular season MVP and then you have playoff MVP. So not to take nothing from Embiid with the regular season MVP in the playoffs, you know, when Embiid wasn't hurt, he played good in the playoffs. So Jokic, he's having a better playoff than Embiid had, but Embiid had a better regular season. So it's two different awards. So hey, listen, Denver gonna do, and then it's the funny part when you break Denver's individual players around Jokic, you'll say they're just regular player like anybody else will have. It's just sometimes when you put a certain team chemistry together, you know, Aaron Gordon used to be an all-star. You know, we know what Michael, what's his name? Porter, what he could have been, right, before his injury, which he still might be. But when individually, though, when you pick them apart, the players ain't that great, but you put them all around to use their skills and knowing when to use their skills around Jokic. Now that's when Jamal Murray shines more. You know, they saying he the next second coming. Well, he been doing that since he been in the league. It's just heightened because of what Jokic is doing.
Right.
And then you get in the pieces they got around him.
It is always easier when there's more than one person that can do things.
Well, that's not like us. We supposed to have Julius wasn't supposed to disappear. RJ is supposed to give us a steady. You know, Brunson gave us his steady. You know, we supposed to get our IQ definitely wasn't supposed to disappear. So that right in a nutshell, just tell you with Julius and IQ, right there. If those two gave us what they supposed to give us, we going to we in this fight with Boston right now. Just give us what you normally give us. But you know that as these weeks go on, that sour taste, it just starts leaving your mouth. But when you look at the what is, that's like that's going to go in line one of the biggest what is. How your whole team going to fold, except one person. How everybody but one person folds.
I know, right?
You know, on your team.
It was just the way.
You know, even Mitch, you know, having a hard time getting to loose balls, holding on to the ball. You know, everybody was doing that. So, but the bright side is up, though. We got a lot to look forward to going into next season.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we just got to hope, too, they don't just redo the whole team. I feel like changing too many pieces, redo everything.
Well, no, I ain't for that either, because you built a nice coach. Because I even saw something the other day real quick. I forgot who the two players was. They on somebody's team right now. And we would have had those two players. The last minute, something fell through. And had we gotten those two players, by not getting those two players, is how we got Josh Hart. So that, and it'll probably, when it comes to me next week, I'm going to remember it. But those two players that the last minute we didn't get, they went somewhere else, and then our secondary went after Josh Hart. So that means long as have those things in mind. If you think you're going to be retooling your team, have your second and third things ready to go. Like don't put all your eggs in one basket. Kind of like we did with Brunson. Like we was letting all these free agents off the board last summer, just waiting for Brunson. When you already knew you was getting Brunson, you could have made some other moves because you knew you was getting Brunson. You just couldn't say it tampering wise. So you could have made the other moves. You knew how much it was going to take to get Brunson because you way overpaid him in that sense. Now he's worth every penny and more. But at the time, Dallas wasn't giving them half that.
I mean, it's probably hard because, one, if they was playing by the rules, they probably couldn't tell the other star or somebody that we be getting Brunson.
Well, no, you can't.
Yeah,
but
you
you,
can't.
what I'm saying, but you knew.
Or, even if they didn't know you was getting Brunson, I don't think the other players around the league kind of had faith in it yet.
No,
you
that
was say get Brunson, but I don't think. I think these stars want to come to the Knicks for a reason. Now, other than Donovan Mitchell, that was just the team not liking us.
No, Brunson wouldn't have brought nobody last summer to the Knicks like he's going to do this summer. But just knowing that your father's the coach, so y'all already knew from y'all meetings, my son is a done deal. So let's go ahead and ink whoever else we got to ink before they all get off the board. We know we already got, we already got my son. So let's get these 2 or 3 people. Now we bring them all together. But last summer, rather you told anybody or not, Brunson wasn't going to bring nobody. Nobody knew this is what we was getting. You know, Cynthia, did you know what we was getting? No? Okay. Anyway, we got a lot we're going to unpack in the next coming weeks because there's a whole lot of scenarios out there that's for Julius Randle. So rather than go all into them now, let some of them settle, and then we'll pick out the ones that seem more realistic, and then in the ones that we think we might want. Yeah. But even right now, there's a whole lot of them out there. All right, so but until next time.
They was talking about me coming.
That ain't never going to happen. Peace.
Peace.